Back here on Sports Talk as we continue from the ballpark, West Star Bank Club, having a chance to preview the Chihuahuas in Omaha, Game 2 tonight. Matter of fact, if you follow the Anti-Hero Baseball film series with Daylight Films, the newest film has been released earlier this morning, Wear It, the Clubhouse Enforcement Chronicles. With us right now, producer, director, filmmaker himself, and also run producer for the El Paso Chihuahuas, Cody Decker, back with us. And as I would always like to say, congratulations on yet another project that has already received, almost 300 views in the 6 hours that it's been launched.
That's honestly terrible.
You're not happy with this?
No, come on. I have high expectations, and I think everyone that's listening needs to go watch it. And if you watched it once, you should watch it about 37 more times and send it out to everyone you've ever met, including those who have no technology.
This looks like a little bit more of an elaborate production than some of the other pieces. And I noticed Josh, the intern, is a big part of this, but I can tell that you've put a little have you put some more work into this particular piece than some of the others?
No more than I normally do. I mean, I take my filming ventures very, very seriously, which is great because I don't take my baseball career seriously at all.
I would beg to differ. Matter of fact, you've caught fire over the last few weeks, and it's kind of interesting. I looked at your start last season compared to this year, and very much in line. April has been a little bit of a tougher month for you, but the difference is this year you heated up a little sooner, and you really caught fire. You were the PCL Player of the Week, 2 Grand Slams in the same week. Has that happened before for you in your career where you've ever hit 2 Grand Slams in the same week?
I don't think so. I think I only have in my career before this 1 Grand Slam. So, no. I've never done it twice in a week because I never did it twice in my career.
Tell me, is it just for you having a chance to play AAA baseball for a couple seasons, getting into that right groove, and all of a sudden you see the ball better, it's jumping off your bat, or is it just contagious? Once you start finding that zone, you just continue to lock in.
That's a great question, and I honestly don't know. This is my 4th year in AAA. It's my 7th season with the San Diego Padre organization. And it's just kind of, I think it's like you said, it's contagious. I've always been kind of a notorious slow starter, sadly. I'm probably one of the worst players in the history of April. And after that, once I started getting going, next thing you know, it just, like you said, caught fire and just kept going. It's a long season, You can have 2 bad months, but it's all right. You got 3 more months, and if those are good months, and hopefully they're great months, and you look back at your numbers in the season, you had a great season.
I think the key, though, with you, Deck, is that this team is so stocked with bats that if you do catch fire in May as opposed to June or July, all it means is Murph's going to try to find a way to keep you in the lineup every single game, which he tries to do anyway. But, again, you're battling guys like Medica, Gobert, Wallace, players on rehab. We just got done with Yonder Alonso. This is just a stacked team. Now you add Melvin Upton to that list, and you just have a lot of hitters, and unfortunately you can't put them all on the field at one time.
It's AAA baseball. It's the way it is. When you have a lot of competition, especially up at the big league level right now, there's not much you can do. You do what you can. Take advantage of the at-bats you get.
At the same time, you play a variety of spots. You'll DH. You'll play first. You played third. You've
catch
caught.
every once in a while.
That's right. I mean, for you, is there even a position you prefer, or as long as you're out on the field playing, that's all that matters?
Fourth.
Yep.
As long as I'm batting, I'm a happy camper. I'm defensively, I'm most comfortable at first. I've spent the majority of my career playing first base. I'm a pretty good first baseman. But outside of that, as long as I'm getting my at-bats, I have work to do at third still. I need to make sure I get as good at third base as I possibly can, for the amount of games I'll get over there. But, whatever runs I mess up and give up for our team, you bet your bottom dollar I'll try my best to get them back.
Is it harder to DH when sometimes you end up, you just batting, but is it easier for you to prepare for an at-bat when you're on the field versus staying in the dugout and then going up, every 9 batters and hitting?
It's like it's a different beast, really. When you're sitting there trying to DH, you have to just figure out how to ways to get loose because, you sit around for 2-3 innings. On the field, it's a little easier when you're on the field because you're staying loose, you're staying into the game, you're staying locked in at all times. But I've over the years, I've really figured out how to DH, and I'm pretty good at that role. It's not as easy of a role as you think. It's almost, at times, it's almost like you're pinch hitting 4 times in one game.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's got to be tough. But is there a different mindset when you're up there in DHing versus playing the field?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's just making sure that when it's 5 batters away, I'm starting to make sure I'm loose and getting locked in on what he's doing and make sure I'm feeling good. Like when I'm hitting for me is all feel. As long as I'm feeling good, that alone is going to do wonders for me.
Once again, folks, Cody Decker with us right now here. The latest project from Anti-Hero Baseball, Daylight Films, Wear It, the Clubhouse Enforcement Chronicles. Very excited that I just found myself in a rare cameo role during the rolling credits as this was ending.
Yeah, you're in it. I forgot to tell you that. You're in the movie. You interviewed the wonderful Josh Carman, the young man who was getting punished for his shenanigans. Shenanigans is a good word.
He was dressed like a pharaoh when I had a chance to interview him. And the scary thing is he seemed very comfortable with it and almost seemed like he enjoyed it more than the regular attire that he would go out to the game with.
Well, he was acting a bit like a pharaoh. He bought in. He bought in and played the part of every single thing I dressed him up as. I don't think he realized how much of footage we were actually taking of him. And I don't think he realized that this was going to happen.
No. Instead, it's the latest project. Now, you usually try to come out with a couple of films every season.
Yeah.
This is the first, and I'm sure that as much as you'd like to say, you know what, I'm proud of this latest release, you're probably already working on your next project.
I have something already in mind for the next one. I've had in mind for a few months, but I prefer the projects to kind of happen organically as opposed to me, forcing 1 or 2 out. It's not as fun. It feels forced. If you watch it, it'll feel forced. I don't want that. I want you to enjoy it.
This question coming on Twitter from Ravius wanting to know, ask Decker 6 if he liked being the first base coach.
No. Why would I like that? I play baseball. I hate coaching. So no, didn't enjoy it, but it's got to be done. Players always got to be the first base coach when they're down that day. And when you're in there, you got to give it the old college try. So I go over there and I tell the guy who gets on first base all the things he already knows, but I'm saying it for me so I can cover myself.
Ray Jackson on Twitter. It probably won't happen, but is there any way I could take some BP with Cody Decker? Hashtag I am a DH too.
I don't want to. I don't want you to make me look bad. My batting practice is I'm working on hitting low line drives to right field, and the last thing I need is some random guy to come over and make me feel weak.
Start jacking balls, and next thing you know,
just not what I want.
I understand. Take me back a little more than a week ago to Round Rock, and you're in the Dell Diamond for the first time in 2 years, and you're in the team hotel. Mm-hmm. You run into a blast from the past, but yet when you see a professional wrestler from the 80s and 90s that you probably grew up a fan of, did you recognize him right off the bat? Because it looked like Hacksaw hasn't aged a bit in the last 20 years.
Oh, he looks exactly the same. Yeah, I recognize. Well, the first guy that walked by me was Jeff Jarrett. Mm-hmm. And he walked by, and he's about an inch shorter than me, and I look at him as he walked by, and I'm like, is that Jeff Jarrett? Double J? Double E? Double T? Double R? And I'm like, nah, it must have been my eyes playing tricks on me. And then all of a sudden, Hacksaw Jim Duggan walks behind him. And I'm like, well, that's just unmistakable. Clearly, that's Hacksaw. Okay, so clearly Jeff Jarrett and Hacksaw are there. And we're talking about it outside, a couple of guys, and Murph walks by. Hey, Deck, see Hacksaw? I'm like, I saw Hacksaw. And next thing you know, Murph walks in, so I'm like, great, he's going to go talk to Hacksaw. And now Hacksaw's going to come out and talk to me. So Hacksaw walks out. Where the hell's this Decker kid? Right here, Hacksaw. And it was awesome, man. He was cool. He's like, coming out to throw the first pitch tonight. Good luck to you. I'm like, thanks, man. And then I got to be a part of the first pitch, which was exciting. I got pinned by Hacksaw Jim Duggan on the field, making me the first ever professional baseball player Hacksaw Jim Duggan ever pinned. He did wrestle another pro baseball player, but he didn't pin him. He beat he beat Macho Man Randy Savage via countout.
You also took, it's right, Rando Macho Man Savage, for those of you that don't remember, played minor league baseball, I believe the Cincinnati Reds system and the St. Louis Cardinals system back in the 70s.
Yes, he did.
And I miss him. That's one of those guys, gosh almighty, it's hard to believe how many great wrestlers from the 80s are gone today, but Randy Savage, always one of my favorites. One of the greatest wrestling promos you would ever see in your entire life.
The beat goes on, and the beat goes on.
You do a good Randy Savage. Excellent. Now, the clothesline. You were in the lineup that night.
No, I wasn't. I was down that night.
Oh, you were down?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's why I was allowed to do it.
I was wondering.
I was told when I was going to take the clothesline, it was going to be a gingerly clothesline. It ended up not even being a clothesline. It ended up being a shoulder block, and the guy knocked me down.
And you're a big dude.
I'm 228, and this guy was like 6'6", and I'm going to say he gave me a hell of a shoulder block, and snapped me back my head hit the ground. Like, oh, that wasn't expected, but it did look really, really good, and gave Hacksaw the chance to go for the 1-2-3 pin.
And Jeff Jarrett counted the 1-2-3?
I don't know. It's a little hazy. Hit the back of my head.
Was it? Were you really hoping to get the 2x4 to the head? Was that the plan that you had talked about with Hacksaw?
I'm telling you right now, if Hacksaw Jim Duggan gave me a concussion by breaking the 2x4 over my head, I'd be the happiest guy in the world.
How many guys could say, as a professional baseball player, I just had a 2x4 by Hacksaw Jim Duggan broke over my head?
No one. I mean, and I can go home to all my friends who watched wrestling with me as a kid and be like, hey, remember that time you got pinned by Hacksaw Jim Duggan? Oh, that wasn't you? That was me? Yeah, suck it.
All right, as we wrap things up with Cody Decker, who's in the lineup tonight. You batting fourth?
I am.
Playing first?
I am.
Excellent.
We're trying to win tonight.
Hey, by the way, Jason Lane, what an outstanding performance yesterday. 8 2/3 from the ageless one.
Jason Lane, man, I don't think he's thrown a game like that since
ever.
1983.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Let's wrap it up with Inform Hag tweets. Now, this is something that has really become more of an internet phenomenon with a lot of our listeners.
Has it been?
It has been, especially the last couple of weeks. And it's funny because we've been talking about it, and as we've been talking about Inform Hag tweets, there's been very few tweets. It seemed like it really caught fire at the start of the season, tailed off, and does some retweeting. But give me the origins, as you know it, of Inform Hag tweets.
I don't know anything about it. Haggerty seems to think I made a Twitter account for him. Because, yes, me and Rocky Gale and a few other guys, we always talk about Haggerty's tweets. That was informative. He's an informative guy. He tells you things that you never thought about. And it's very informative. So we always loved how informative Haggerty is. So one day, this informative Haggerty tweets showed up on Twitter, and he's giving some very more informative Haggerty tweets. And Haggerty thinks it's me. Then he thinks it's Rocky, and then he thinks it's Gobert. I think it's Haggerty.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me because Tim is the kind of guy that would try to pull that off on everybody. And I'm telling you right now, Deck, that you listen to those Inform Hag tweets. They're hilarious. I don't know if you've had a chance to follow that on Twitter or not, but it's worth the time.
Oh, yeah, read some. I don't know. I haven't really checked them out for a while.
Here is the latest from 6 days ago from Informative Haggerty. Clean shaven in the original photo, Cody Decker's beard and self-esteem are actually superimposed on the card.
Oh, yeah, and there's a picture of my first baseball Topps card. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is a cool card.
It is. Look at that.
With the El Paso Chihuahuas red jersey and the EP cap.
Yes, it is. That's a good-looking card. Get your hands on those. That is true, and that is so informative. Thank you, Haggerty.
How about this one? This is also one of my favorites. Chest hair can negatively affect a player's WAR.
Yeah, and I found that out that day, too, when he tweeted that out. Thank you, Haggerty. That's informative.
So as far as you're concerned, if we continue to get some random Inform Hag tweets, as we've said oftentimes, life is good. But you are not taking responsibility for this because this is not you.
Well, I don't know why he thinks it's me. I almost feel insulted.
Yeah.
It could be anyone. But I still think there's a chance it's Haggerty himself.
Last question, yes.
He's out there.
Last question from Stephanie _Nikki. She wants to know, Ask Cody, how does it feel to be an El Paso favorite? Chihuahua Nation really loves him.
I love this place. I'm a huge fan of this place. I don't know if I'm the favorite. There's some guys here that people love. Rocky Gale gets a good Rocky chant sometimes.
He does.
And who else is there? People love Lehner. Lehner's got some of that old-fashioned elbow grease that Lehner brings into the ball game. I don't know. I love it. I love this city. I love this. I can't be more outspoken about it. It's the best place I've ever played, without question. Not even close, in fact. I hope I play here forever. Well, you know what I mean.
I hope your next stop is San Diego.
Well, let's all hope for something. Let's try and hope for something a little more attainable, like a dragon.
He's Cody Decker. Follow him on Twitter @Decker6 and check out the newest film from Anti-Hero Baseball. Wear It, the Clubhouse Enforcement Chronicles.
Oh, and
don't be on YouTube.
Also, don't be afraid to follow me on Twitter @Decker6. Please do that. You can get all the information on because I often like to retweet informative Haggerty tweets because I find them informative. They change my day.
We'll be looking for you also on the Keith Olbermann Show coming up soon.
I hope so. I really hope so. Come on, Keith, bring me back.
Great to see you. When we come back, more in a moment. Stay with us. Sports Talk continues from the ballpark on Team 600, ESPN El Paso.